Hello everyone, Oscar again. Today we're going to have a look at a €2 live play on Winamax. So we're going to play one table. The purpose of this session is just try and align, anything that we've learned in the beginner to winner series, see it in real time at the tables, and see if we can find some traits from the recreationals. And yeah, hopefully find some decent spots to have a good conversation. Here 3x versus recreational. I'm just going to fold the 10 deuce. Don't want to start the game off, slightly higher variance. And 3x from recreational is slightly unusual. Um, Here in a two recreational game, we should never rejam because we don't want to flip versus the button. If I don't think that the big blind is going to squeeze or rejam, then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go for a flat call here just to see if I can hit a deuce on the flop, because obviously the implieds are doing so would be amazing, like this. Fantastic flop for us. But yeah, relatively very low risk strategy in terms of if we miss, then I completely give up. On these structures, opponent's going to bet. I am going to directly raise because he's going to have a lot of two overcard combinations, whereas actually will call once. And here I'm just going to go slightly unusual, and I'm going to go very big sizing. I'm going to go massive sizing here because if he's got higher pocket pairs, if he's got ace king and those kind of combinations, I want to charge them. Here, slightly awkward, right? Because now the ace x has made a straight. So what I'm actually going to do, so I'm going to bet very small here on the turn, just to give myself the opportunity to hit a full house on the river, fold versus any raise. What we can't do, in my opinion, is check and then allow our opponent to go all in, because it doesn't give us the opportunity to see the river. So as played, we're going to fold now. But actually, I think we played the combination and the hand very well, especially getting the opponent's call large sizing on the flop, on the turn, sorry, on the flop, with most likely some random ace-x Broadway combination. So I think, yeah, well played. Bad run out, but it doesn't mean that we should then continue and make a bad decision based on a bad run out, right? So the correct decision there is to fold, but I'm very happy with how we played the hand overall. Flush, nice hand. Oh, pair of sevens, wow. Nothing really going on for us here. We can float, but actually, I think this guy's kind of like wants to play. So I'm probably just going to check it back and just go straight give up here because I'm in kind of stack preservation mode. So I really do want to preserve my stack, and I'm not even going to invest in additional big blind here to try and represent the flush. Just literally going to check back. King deuce, I'm going to fold. Just going to fold here. The five has like potentially negative implieds. Fold the king five. Now king 10 at 5.1. That's good enough for us. So we're jam. Hopefully get a double up. A walk's fine. A fold's fine. Okay. Nothing really we can do here. This stack size. I'm just going to directly fold versus the C bet. Jack six, I'm going to fold. He's very active from the button. So hopefully, if you've been following the beginner to winner video series, that you're starting to learn, some nice fundamentals. Power of position. Jack eight, 3.4 big blinds. We take this. the button, you know, a very, very important position in spins. It's the one position whereby we don't have to invest any money into the pot mandatory. So we play like a decent, very, very balanced range there. We don't widen the range in general. We don't do anything out of character, out of context. You know, we're playing basically fold, min raise, or all in. Okay. I don't ISO jam this myself with the Jack 9 because actually I like playing post flop versus the shallow stacks. Here I'm just going to call and then I'm going to call versus two big blinds. Like if he goes all in, if not, I'm just going to put them all in myself. Like second pair in a three big blind pot, generally decent kickers, pretty much a monster. See if I can get away with limping the Jack 7. I like to play super wide versus unknown recreationals because the power of the limp C bet. And this is a great structure to do so. So we'll give it a try. Five deuce, no. So we should probably get heads up after this hand unless Kaka B05 doubles up, but Brooks woke up with 10, so broke, sorry. So yeah, heads up now, pretty even stacked. So let's go for a limp with the king 10. Call versus non-all in ISO, fold versus an ISO jam. It's a very, very nice hand, but we can actually have better spots versus an unknown, especially if we believe we've got an edge. Nice flop here for us. So we're going to look to directly build the pot here. So various draws available, you know, flush draw, straight draws. We block with the 10x. But here I'm just going to go. I'm going to go three big blind size in and then just look to get the hand in on the turn if possible. And we call here. Good luck us. Hopefully it's a hand like Queen Jack, flush draw, and not King Queen. King 9. So that's pretty much a cooler. Nice for us in terms of the kicker. Good equity. But yeah, well played by him. Except for the donk. Obviously, I wouldn't recommend that. But yeah, well played overall in terms of the hand that it actually stacked off with. Nice walk there with 7-3. Jam the ace 4. 6-10. No 7. No queen. Nice. Game for us. Let's go again. Nice to hit 1,000,000, but we'll take €4 instead. Say my name, say my name. You're acting kind of shady in calling me baby. 5 deuce does not appear in our button range ever, so solid fold. Here with the kings, I'm just going to go directly for a 3x ISO. I want to build the pot. Nice value hand. He's taking his time. He's thinking. So the ace X, not super ideal for us, but in terms of what we're representing, it's fine. We have a solid hand. 8x, 9x is going to connect decently, so I'm not going to check back here. I am going to go for a bet. I'm just going to go two big blinds. Flush hits, he leads very, very small. It's kind of interesting. Two options. We can flat call, we can raise. Personally, I'm going to go for a raise myself, just purely because I don't want him to realize a potential another diamond super free, especially if he's a draw. And I'm going to use quite large sizing. And then just take it down. I'm not really scared of anything with that sizing. Obviously, there is going to be some times where they've got like a weird flush here. But overall, I wasn't too concerned. So if I think my opponent is on a draw and I'm ahead and I think they're going to pay for the draw, then I'm going to charge them. Yeah, just going to go C-bet with the 3s and the 2s. Just effectively want to get value from overcard equity. And I think I'm actually going to bet small again on the 5. And then two options here. I think we can just bet small again, or we can just go check call. I'm just going to go small again. I'm honestly going to go another 1.3 myself. Just effectively, I think we've got value, and I think we've got a hand that we can bet versus a recreational, but we need to do so on our terms. So effectively, what I wanted to do there is pot control. Here with an effective stack size around 12 bigs with ace queen off, I'm just going to go for the jam. But yeah, the reason why I'm betting the three small streets of value there is because I want to charge my opponent, but our hand is very, very weak value, and I don't want to go high variance. I don't want to play big pots. So I think it was overall nice. It was well played. If there was any form of raise on the river, regardless of sizing, then I would just directly fold. Ace Jack, same principle as the Ace Queen, off suited, 12 big effective. I'm just going to go for a jam. I'm 8,251st in the leaderboard on Winamax, and I have won a game, so I've got some points, right? So that just goes to show how big the 2 level or the €2 pool is on Winamax. Absolutely massive. I'm here limp. I've got ace five. I'm not going to play it post flop. I'm just going to rejam. Here, as mentioned previously, I try and play as wide as possible versus recreationals until they give me a reason not to. So I'm going to go for a limp here with the 5 deuce and then fold versus any form of ISO. Now that we know that he is ISO in, then obviously we'll consider our decisions in the future. But yeah, 8,256th, 8,257th is kind of wild, right? To think that there's players who also haven't got any points and players that have got points. Massive, massive pool. Massive pool. Heads up here versus say my name, say my name. I'm going to limp the queen 3. Versus this ISO size suited combination, I'm going to call. Interesting flop for us. We've picked up a flush draw. I'm going to call again. I don't see the reason to inflate the pot. I don't want to stack off on the flop when they're using such small sizing. So I'm more than happy to just go call, call. And then my plan of action now is call, call, call. So I'm not going to raise. I want to keep all of his air range in. I want to allow him to be the aggressor. The fourth diamond sucks in multiple ways. One, obviously our opponent can have an ace. Two, it can potentially kill the value. Am I concerned about the ace? Not really. So what I want to do now is I want to find a way to get as much value as possible. So we can go non-all in, but if we go non-all in, it'd be around a 5-6 big blind sizing. With his stack size, I'm just going to directly jam and hopefully get called by a jack, a 9x, etc., etc. If we take the pot down, completely fine. We took a large portion of his stack, and I think we played it correctly. Most importantly is I didn't want to raise on the turn to allow him to fold weaker combinations. So especially when we didn't need much protection. Yes, the fourth diamond wasn't ideal. However, there's only one combination which beats us. But there's 7, 8, 9, multiple worse diamonds. There's multiple worse single pairs. There's multiple mistakes that say my name could have made in that hand. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with how we played. Queen 6, go for a limp. Fold versus ISO, not suited, trash combination. Say my name, say my name. Queen 4 from the button, no. Nine five offsuit. Hopefully, oh, nice, perfect. That's what we like to see. Here with the ace 4, I myself, I like to raise the aces versus the recreational players. So I'm just going to go 2.5x, raise. I'll fold versus a 3-bet non-all-in. I'll fold versus a jam. 10 jack from the button, perfect combination to raise, especially 25 bigs deep. Here, 3-6 from the big blind. We're just going to fold. Too weak. Same here with the ace-5 suited. I'm going to min raise. Well, 2.5x, sorry. On this structure, Jack-8 deuce, I'm going to continue, but I'm just going to use a relatively small size and I'm going to go 1.5 big blinds. Hopefully take the pot down now. If our opponent calls or raises, then that's us done. The Queen X here, potential to continue barreling because it's an overcard to the board. However, I don't want to take the risk in this game. There's no real need. So I'm just going to check here and then give up if my opponent bets. Hopefully go to showdown. But even versus the smaller sizing, that's me done. I'm not going to turn my ace-X or ace-high showdown into any form of bluff here. I'm just going to simply fold. King 6, 15, not strong enough. Let's give say my name a crown, and then let's give Silas Doug. Let's give him the football. Silas Doug seems incredibly passive. Here with the King 9 suited. Limp, min raise, either or. I've raised him a couple of times, so I'm just going to go for a limp here. Because it's a very easy call versus ISO. Here, most people would have a very high instinct to c-bet. I don't like it myself. Ton of fold equity on this board, and we actually have value. Therefore, I'm going to check because I want my opponent to hit worse combinations on the turn or river that I can get value from, or take initiative and bet themselves. Here, I'm just going to go for a raise. I'm not going to flat call purely because if my opponent's betting 9x or 10 jack kind of combinations that he wants to continue with, I want to charge them. I'm just going to go 3 big blinds here. Happy to stack off versus worse 9x because we've got the nut 9x. So if he's got hands like 9, 7, 9, 8, then he's actually pretty dead to us. So that's awesome. Here on the turn, I'm going to go half pot sizing. And then here, I'm just going to go for the direct jam. There is the possibility that he's actually got an ace, which would suck. However, I wouldn't feel bad at how we've played it. I am hoping to see, more combinations like 10-9, Jack-9, weaker 9x in his calling range. More available than ace-x. Come on, say my name. Nice. Nice pot for us. Good value on the flop and the turn. Here, I'm just going to go direct jam with the ace-x. Ace-10. I don't know what Silas Doug is waiting for. Maybe he's waiting for aces. Who knows? Oh, he's found him. King, queen, king 4. Split pot. 10-4. Fold. Say my name. Say my name's all in. Queen 8. Ace deuce. Pretty standard. 10. He's hit the straight. Sorry, Doug. Send him an egg. Oh, have we done him as well? Rough day to be Doug, ladies and gentlemen. Heads up versus Say My Name, which is the same opponent we played last time. Just going to go for a limp here with a king queen. I'm actually going to directly fold here. Now, it's going to sound really weird, super counterintuitive, but why do I want to flip versus this opponent? There's no need, right? So actually, I really like the fold here because I'm super confident in my ability versus this opponent, and I believe I've got a massive edge, pre-flop and post-flop. So I don't want to gamble in the first couple of hands with the heads up when I don't need to with king queen offsuit, basically. I'm going to go c-bet here with the 10-8. Opponent calls. The 5x doesn't really change the structure. It's not like I can now pressure 6x. So I'm just going to check back myself. The queen x here is pretty cool. It does provide additional. I can't win at showdown, so I'm actually going to go bet check back here. And I'm actually just going to go 2 big blinds on the river just to try and fold out random combinations, even a jack high that's currently beating me. To see if we can pressurize. I don't expect a 6x to fold, but I think it was worthwhile trying. Ace is here. He jams. GG. Say my name, say my name. You're acting kind of shady. It's a bad time to jam, my friend. 7-9 suited versus aces. He flops a 7. He needs a 9 or a 7. Unlucky. But you see, like, the those of you watching the video, I know obviously we can't predict the future, etc., but you might be thinking it was madness to fold the king queen. That king queen could have quite easily been a flip versus ace 3 offsuit, ace king, pocket tens, etc., etc., right? Whereas we actually just played it standard, we played it straightforward, and then we ended up getting into a super, super high equity spot with the aces versus 9-7 suited. So I can't obviously guarantee that that happens every single time, but it does mean that we don't necessarily need to make rash decisions or flips. Here, open fold is completely fine. I'm confident enough to min raise because I'm going to fold versus any all in, but I'm happy to play these post flop. So I'm happy to take the min raise. However, the open fold is also completely fine if needed. Just don't jam. Never jam. Don't be one of those guys that jams pocket twos, pocket threes at 25 big blinds. It's trash. The minute you call, you're fucked. Like, there's never a good scenario. Don't do it. It's not needed. Here, we do have actual nice backdoor equity with the jack in terms of straights and flushes. So I'm going to call once myself and see how our opponent sizes on the turn. When he sizes this shallow, that's super, super nice for me. I'm actually going to raise. I'm not going to flat call. I'm actually going to raise and apply pressure on his sizing, because I'd expect his value combinations to bet bigger on the turn. So here I'm just going to apply pressure, turn my hand into a semi-bluff. I think it's a real, real nice combination. If you're not confident in doing that in your initial game, then obviously call in there to see if we can realize the jack-high flush is completely fine as well. Here, ace-jack, I like to use 3x sizing deep with these kind of combinations because it is a combination where I'll raise call versus non-all-in and all-in. So I'm happy to size up the pot. Queen 8, 16, 13. I'm fine playing this combination. I'm going to raise it. Nice combination. Fold versus all-in, fold versus non-all-in. And then relatively simple, just going to range bet here, one big blind on the button, look to get fold equity. Any form of raise, snap fold for us. We're not going to look for backdoors. We're not going to do anything funky. We're going to respect the raise, and then we're going to fold. Here, no real backdoors, straights, awkward, just going to fold. 10-7, I'm going to see if I can limp versus say my name, say my name. Not going to call versus any ISO, just going to fold. Ace 5, 15 big blinds, slightly tricky. I don't really want to min raise it. I don't really want to open jam it. But I don't really want to fold it either. So out of all of my options, I'm actually gonna go for the fold. Min raise would be completely fine, but I don't want to min raise, get rejammed. I don't really want to min raise and play it post flop, especially not versus two players as well. Potential. So I'm happy with skipping there. It's a very, very, marginal spot. So other players will like to min raise those. I like to be slightly tighter on the button myself. You decide. Just don't go all in. Here, I'm just going to fold. So he's using various different sizings, 1.3 big blinds. Now he's going pot size. We'll respect it. DJO 604. Here, I'm going to go for another limp versus this guy. He did ISO us last time, but Jack Deuce is too weak to jam, too weak to raise, and too strong to fold. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. He's ISO'd. Again, I'm not going to call, even though it's suited. The Jack X combination can actually get us in a lot of trouble if we flop a Jack. So we're just going to play it smart. Then we're going to reassess our strategy moving forward versus say my name, say my name. Not really much strategy readjustment we can do with 6 deuce off. Hopefully they both fold and feel sorry for us. We'll be happy to take that. Say my name min raises From the button, we will fold. Here, ace queen, better. We'll just directly jam 5.4 bigs. What you got, Simone? Jack 4, 6.4. No, thank you. You see, like my style is very much super low variance versus unknown recreational players. I don't really like to take any uncalculated risks. I don't want to punt off my stack. I don't want to flip. There's no need. I'm looking for super high equity spots. I'm looking for domination in terms of equity domination. And yeah, patience is king. Here, 6.4 bigs versus a button jam. We're just going to fold. 4-6. Unfortunately, we've tried limping a couple of times. It didn't work. So we're now just going to have to fold. From the button, Jack 10, 4.9. We take. It's strong enough to take. Versus ace 5, 45%. It's not bad at all. Flop, absolutely fucking terrible. We're dead to rights. Well played, say my name. Move on to the next one, guys. You cannot win them all. So against Falcon 94607 and Leon Latlas. Jack 7, button, does not exist in our range. If it doesn't exist, what do we do, fellas? We fold. Perfect. Nice flop, though. Shame. At first I was afraid, I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. Interesting run out. Each Lion last jams. Maybe he spiked to 4. Maybe he just thought Falcon and his small bets was full of bullshit. Yeah, not the worst flop for us. You know, top pair on a king 10-10. Kicker sucks. We're not going to lead. We're not going to bet out position. We're going to try and play this as low variance as possible. However, on the turn, we are going to look for a little bit of value. I'm not going to go massive sizing because there is better king X. I'm just going for very small value here. And then see if he decides to lead or anything on the river. When he doesn't, I'm actually just going to go for small value. Again, I'm just going to go for another 1.5 big blind, targeting 9x. Yeah, well played. Like, so check back there is also completely fine for players who feel slightly paranoid. But if you think your opponent's on a weaker range, and if you think that's a range that will call, then my suggestion is always to go for the value with discipline. Here on the ace-x, I'm just going to lead. I'm going to go slightly bigger sizing. I'm just going to go 2 big blinds here. But it's super important that if we think our opponent's on 9x, and a 9x isn't a completely credible calling combination, that we go for the value bet ourselves. Because over the long term and the high frequency, if you're one of those players hitting those spots, absolutely perfect. If you're missing those spots, it's going to cost you. Here, I don't want to call versus large sizing. I don't want to face a massive bet. I don't want to be put in a position whereby I'm not sure what to do. I'm going to go very small block bet here. Just to 1, get very thin value from any form of 7x, deuce x, king highs. 2, not end up making a mistake versus a large sizing bet from my opponent who can credibly have a queen. So I like it myself. Here with the jacks, check back's completely fine. However, I like to play these as range bets. So I'm just going to continue with a 1 big blind bet. See how my opponent reacts. The queen on the turn, actually probably not a bad card for us in all fairness. It reduces the amount of queen X that he does have. However, he directly jams. Now, generally, recreational players can bluff. Oh, I timed out anyway. So what I was going to say was recreational players can be super random. They can be super wide, but do we need to take a coin flip scenario? So I would have folded the jacks there anyway because it's not worth the risk. There's been nothing inside of this game which has made me feel uncomfortable, made me feel like, oh my God, maybe I don't have an edge. Oh, I'm unsure what to do. With that in mind, I just like to play it solid. Here with the king 8, limping's fine. I really like jamming these kind of combinations at 10 bigs. We do get a decent amount of fold equity, and they're pretty decent. So I don't mind the jam at all there myself. He woke up with ace 4, completely fine, nice hand, well played. I still wouldn't change the way I played. 7 deuce. We're very, very happy to be able to check behind here. Here, this is interesting. Okay, so this is one of the most interesting spots that we've seen so far. We've got 6 big blinds. The flop 5's 3-7. It's a 3 big blind pot. Our opponents can have anything. Our kicker sucks. I don't want to invest money, but actually I'm just going to directly jam here. Oh, well, I was going to directly jam if I didn't fucking sit out. Maybe it saved us some money, but okay. Here, I'm just going to go for the jam. There's too many combinations on the turn in rivers which can make it super awkward for us. Our opponent can quite easily have better 7x's because our kicker does suck, or he can flop a straight, which is super nice. However, I don't want to play the top pair here with a 6 big blind stack in multiple streets. So I like the jam because we can quite easily get called by random overcards. We can get called by flush draws. We can get called by ace-x combinations. As played, 6.4 big 6.4 for the straight. He flopped it really, really nice. My thought process here is purely based on our stack size. So we have 6 big blind remaining, and there's 3 big blinds in the stack, and there's 2 big blinds of potential fold equity here. So actually, pretty massive for us. So I really, really like it. Obviously, if I was deeper, then I wouldn't play it the same way because the hand strength in terms of a deeper stack becomes almost quite trash. But it's 6 big blinds deep, top pair. I actually kind of like it. Very, very nice flop though for Falcon. Well played. Yeah, very, very much, guys. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Good luck at the tables. Remember, play solid, ABC, bet your value, bluff small, bluff, infrequently. And yeah, good luck.